guys, I think are you guys still talking about Robin Hood?
No.
Just finished it.
All right.
Right before it's
All right.
Great.
So, that I was inspired by you guys talking about Robin Hood to do this bow presentation. And as you can see on your sheets, that is the anatomy of a compound bow, which is a specific type of bow that is I would rank second easiest bow to fire. First, I'm going to talk about the anatomy of the bow. The first thing I'm going to talk about is the bowstring, which I think you guys would already know that is the main part of a bow. It is the part that you put your arrow in when you fire a bow. But the cool thing about compound bows is that they have to have specific types of arrows, which I think is really cool. The arrows that they have to have this little clip on the end. It's not on your sheet, but do you mind if I walk around and show?
Not at all. Yep.
So you can see that there's a little divot at the end of the arrow, which actually, once you get it past the thinner part, it clips on, and it can stay on there for as long as you want. The only thing that helps it stay on is this circular device called an arrow holder. The arrow holder actually is made of these little hair-like reeds that once the arrow is set, once you're ready to fire, there is a snowball's chance in Arizona that it's going to come back out. I have a feeling that this is getting a little boring.
You're doing great. Just use your sheet. Good job.
There's a thing on the bowstring called the knocking loop. I'm just going to set this one here. It's called the knocking loop. That is, and you can see on your, can I borrow this for a second? You can see on your sheet, it is this loop right here. And there's also this loop right here, where I will hook my trigger to pull back and fire. My bow does not have this addition that actually pros. There are professional archers that I got confused. Don't judge. That use a stabilizer. A stabilizer right here is a little beam that actually helps in helping aim the bow as you're pulling it back. It helps stabilize it so it's straight as you aim it. And when you fire it, a big vibration comes, and as it tries to reach your hand, the stabilizer absorbs that shock so that your arrow does not go flying miles from your target. Speaking of sighting, there's this thing called the bow sight. The bow sight is another circular thing like the arrow rest. It's this right here. And also another part of it is this little thing, and when you pull the string back, it adjusts so that you can see out of it with one eye. But the main part are these little things. And I'm gonna go around to each of you. It might take a while I'm gonna start over here. So you can see that there are little dots right here. And so these actually help with your sighting. And the farther down you get with the nocks, as they're called, the little red, the colored dots, the farther down you get, that actually depends on how far away you are from the target. So if I was trying to fire my bow from 50 yards away, I would actually probably be going on my second or third knockdown, which I think is the red one right here. But like if I was shooting from 10, 20 to 30 yards away, I would be on my first one, as you guys saw, the green one. Okay, that took a little while. The next thing I want to talk to you about, and this is part of adjusting your bow, is a cam right here. It's on either side, but this actually controls the length of the draw length of your bow. Draw length is just a fancy word for how far it goes back when you pull it back, like how far it goes back when I do that. And so it's kind of like, you know how when you're screwing in a nail, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? It's pretty much the same with this, except when you turn it right, it shortens the bowstring. And also, in a fun fact, actually, when you pull it left, it lengthens it. And back to the fun fact, I'm sorry, I got off track a little there. But fun fact, when you tighten it, these arms right here, they little by little inch out, stretching the bowstring, so that it's, oh wait, that's the other thing, I'm sorry, I'm just getting so off track. Okay.
Doing great.
That's the other thing. But this, it lengthens it so much. It like releases more wire from these wires into this wire. So, okay. Now to the thing that I was already talking about, and I didn't know it, the limb bolt. It's right here on your, right here. It's from your viewpoint. It is a little to the left of the cam, right here. This controls the tightness of the compound bow. This is the one that when you want to tighten it, it controls the poundage on your string. And so, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And especially lefty-loosey, righty-tighty for this one, because when I say poundage, when I first heard that, I thought poundage, like as in the string weighs more or something, and then I figured out that's not really what it means. Poundage is actually how powerful it is. So when I pull it back and pull the trigger, which I would never do here, I wish I could, but I don't. It would send the arrow flying faster. But like Spider-Man, and just using this example, with great power comes great responsibility. Except the responsibility is strength. Yeah. So if you haven't already guessed, the downside is it's a lot harder to pull back. Like for me, it's still pretty hard to pull it back. But if I increase the poundage with the screwdriver, I probably would be doing this the entire presentation. So I'm just glad it's at a perfect poundage, pretty much. And so that is pretty much all I know of the anatomy of the compound bow. Just to let you know, I don't have all the answers, but I wish I did for you guys, because you guys are being an amazing audience right now. I just want to give you a pride reward. Like you guys can just feel good about yourself because you guys are being just so awesome. There are a lot of different kinds of bows.
Would it be okay at the end? So when you're done, take your time, but when you're done, could we ask some questions?
Oh yeah, of course. Again, I don't know all the answers, so it's okay if I don't know some of the questions you have. And so, there are a lot of different kinds of bows. Mine is one of many. Probably the one you guys were reading about in Robin Hood would probably be a, I'd say either a recurve bow or a long bow, which are actually the more traditional bows. This compound bow is what humans call a bow nowadays. Back then, as you probably already have known, their bows didn't have more power. You couldn't adjust the power on the bows unless you had to like untie the string and then tie it again tighter. You can't just get a screwdriver and do it. That's pretty much what the recurve and long bows. And I actually put here in order what I think the hardest bows to shoot are. Crossbow, compound bow, recurve bow, and long bow at the very hardest because, well, if you couldn't tell by the name, they are very big. And so that's just how I ranked them. And you can actually get any of these bows. I would recommend Cabela's, but you can get any of these bows, have fun, do whatever you want, except shoot when people are on the range. But I mean, like just safety. But I just think
Put your hands down for just now. Wait till it's done.
I just think bows are amazing, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. That's another reason why I'm here. And speaking of bows today, there are a lot of purposes for them today. People use them for competitions. They use them for sports, which are competitions, I guess. Excuse me on my knowledge, but they also use them for hunting. My dad loves bow hunting. But anyways, I'm just so happy that you guys are studying bows, and that's my presentation. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And
Let's give him a round of applause. That was excellent, and you definitely know a lot more about bows than we do. So if it's okay with you, we'll do a couple questions. Fourth graders, you can raise your hand. Once Grant calls on someone, put your hands down until the next person he calls on, okay?
Saying that like I'm a student. Okay. Claire.
Do you hunt animals?
I do want to go bow hunting sometime.
Clear.
Oh.
She loves animals. She loves animals. She hates people who touch. Okay.
Sorry. Okay, Logan.
Yes. So I have a recurve bow, and so I think that every bow has one of those slots, or every arrow, but is the slot for the arrow different than most of the slots?
Well, I mean, I think you're right that I think all arrows, unless you want to make one out of wood, have these clips.
And so with yours, I would actually put crossbow. So crossbow is probably the easiest to shoot, but it's super hard to load. So I would.
Well, I just put them in order to shoot.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I